Oh, straighten out. Good evening. It is Sunday, August 16th, 2026. There's my office. Here's the couch, the lovely new couch. A nice and cool basement. In the evening. So, how long is a year? That was the whole premise here. And this is just a little over a year, this last post that I'm going to be making. And I'm never making a post on here again. So the goal was to kind of see how long a year is, knowing I had a year that had some big changes coming up, but mostly should have been the same. When the first post of this started, we had just finishing moving from the house we were renting to this house that we bought together. The house that we bought together to bring in my wife's mother and take care of her for her last chapters. Um, and then we had a relatively peaceful couple months, but still very busy adjusting. Just, any moving when you're from house to house is going to be a lot of work. So doing a lot of that, a lot of work stress for my wife, and then mother-in-law hurt her shoulder, and then very shortly after she had a cardiac arrest, and I had to give her CPR, and she had died definitely at least twice on that day. And so the months after that were really hard. Um, a lot of going to the hospitals, a lot of going to the rehab facility. When she came home, a lot of worrying about how is she going to do. Can she live here? Can she take care of herself enough that we can support her? Um, or will she need so many things that we won't be able to? And it was like 4 or 5 months of not knowing anything about how the recovery would be at all, much less to the point where she could live a normal life. And she's had the best recovery possible. But as far as for the purposes of this, it doesn't take away from those 3, 4, or 5 months where we didn't know, when we were making plans and we were overextending ourselves and we were asking for help, and we were doing a lot of things and we were unclear on the outcome. It was a hard time. And the last few months of this year have been better. Still filled with some sadness, still filled with some angst and doubt about the mother-in-law's health and what we can do, what we should do, what she wants. Yeah, it's a lot. It's been a lot. And for me, I am very happy that I have Cassie in my life, and she's amazing, always, every day. And the more that I find out about her path that she had to take, and the path that she chose to take, and where she came from, and what the other people with the same choices, how they ended up, man, she is even more amazing every day. She really is. She's a wonderful woman, and don't know if I deserve her, but I've done everything I can to make her know that she's amazing and wonderful and saved my soul, and I'm very lucky to have her in my life. Until a week ago, I had a really good year. This whole year was probably the best entire year I've had with the relationship with my daughter. And sometime earlier this year, she decided she's not a woman, that she's a man. And I told her that my thoughts on those things, and I call her by the name she was given, and I call her by the pronouns associated with the sex that she is. And aside from that, I treat her wonderfully, and I treat her kindly, and I try to include her in my life. I try to include her in us doing things. And we had a really fucking great year. Out of her whole life, I met her when she was 2. This is probably the most that she's been in my life as positively. It's been a really good year for our relationship. Very, very few ups and downs. And then last week she told me that she does not want me in her life if I'm unwilling to call her by her name that she's choosing, but not changing her name legally to. Or even if I did that, if I still refer to her as her, then that is an insult to her, and that is disrespectful to her, and she doesn't want to be around that. And that sucks. And this isn't a topic that's been new in the world, but it's been new for her as far as I'm aware, within 2026. But wrapping my head around it and trying to do the mental gymnastics to come around to make a different choice for myself on what I'm going to do about that information. I've not been able to change my mind as I'm trying to do so really hard. And so I don't think there's going to be a lot of movement in that. There's a lot of parent-daughter, father-daughter stuff. It's normal, and some blow-ups here and there, and not talking for a little while and getting back to having a relationship together. That's normal for late teenage, early 20s, I would think. But I have a feeling this one's going to be different. She's engrossed herself. She's encamped. She's in this place, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, that she's not going to be able to give any wiggle room for. Even if she wanted to, and I don't think she wants to, but even if she wanted to, I think she's in a place where socially it's not going to be allowed, that she has to take an all or nothing stance. And that sucks, and that makes me very sad, and it's just another thing that there's nothing I can do about it. When I'm at my best emotionally and my best mentally, I need to take the time to think about this and come to my own conclusion and do what I really think is right. And that's what I've been doing so far, and talking about it, therapy, a couple times, but not big, because this literally happened the day after I had therapy last. So this Saturday is going to be a hell of a therapy session for my therapist. Gonna work through it with other people, with other points of views, and try to see what I can do, but I have a feeling she's going to be out of my life for a while. So that makes me very sad. But that is part of this year. Happened a little over a week ago, so it's part of this year that I'm curious how long it is and how many things could possibly happen in 1 year. When you're 50 years old and you're half a century, how much can really happen in a year? Surely you just go to work and come home and watch the same show and go to sleep, and everything's the same pretty much, right? Well, I got longer here though. My hair's much longer than it was when it started. That is for sure. Yeah, it sucks. So, I have a great wife. I have a great relationship. Try to make that better every day that I can. Do my best to take care of my mother-in-law, who does not want to be taken care of. Did my best to take care of my daughter, who does not want to be taken care of, but does want to be taken care of. But not in the way I want to take care of her, I guess. And then there's me. I'm trying to take care of me. And so now we're going on the 4th week now of trying to treat myself better. And I've been prep cooking. I still am so resistant to exercise. It's insane. I worked a little bit of a workaround where I am at least 3-4 times a week doing tasks, chores, a lot of stuff in the garage, moving boxes around, some gardening, doing things that are exercise, that aren't an exercise routine, to move my body and sweat and move it in ways that I usually don't. So I'm exercising a little bit this last 4 weeks, but man, just right over there. I just do some yoga right on the ground right there. 10 minutes done. Never do it. It's crazy how much I avoid it. But I am choosing when I put my mouth. Pause? Yeah, that's the way you say it. I'm choosing when I put my mouth much more carefully. And that's been helpful. I am losing weight. I'm hoping by this time next year to be under 280. If I do things the way I used to do them, I could be under 280 in like 3 months, but then come right back. So I'm just trying to do this nice and steady, lose a pound a week, 2 pounds on a good week. Just keep moving steady. Keep doing a little better when I go to the grocery store, because that's the big thing. As stupid as it is to not know it, not bringing it in the house in the first place helps a lot. Having other options available that you like that are healthier and less calorie dense helps a lot. And those are the two things I never did because I wanted to have that binging. So, bringing less in the house, bringing in less often, and making things so that they're healthy options. And all I'm thinking about is Zoe, and God, it sucks. This whole year's gonna go by. New house, new marriage, mother-in-law had a cardiac arrest, all the things that happened this year, and this is gonna be the one that could be the one that kind of makes it good or bad, and that kind of sucks. But we all make our choices, right, buddy? We all make our choices. Yeah. I'm making mine, making it as consciously and thoughtfully as I can. And I'll be here for her if she wants me. And if not, I'm going to be here. I'm going to be in this life, so I got to treat myself good and try to be happy, try to be healthy. So, how long is a year? Pretty fucking fast. I think I might have said that in the first one. But it is really fast how many things happen, how fast it goes by, and a whole year of my life is gone. How many of these do we get? Do we get 50 of them, 70 of them, 100 of them, and they're gone? That's one of them. One, gone. Never coming back. It's not one more, it's not 1 second I can relive that whole year. Not 1 second. It's gone. So I'm going to take the things I did this year that I'm proud of, that I'm happy about, that make me feel really good as a human, and I'm going to do more of those. And the things I screwed up, the mistakes I made, the places I put my time and energy that were completely unhelpful, I want to do so much less of that. I think I'm doing better. And it wasn't a steady up. It wasn't a steady up this year. It was a big time where there were some downs. But it's been an up the last month of how I'm learning, how I'm treating myself, what I'm doing. And I hope the next year goes by a little bit slower. And I hope the next year I do a little bit better. And that's what I'm going to try to do. Year goes by fast. My biggest takeaway of this year, very, very, very easy. Very easy. Seeing myself in my good and bad points. Seeing the people around me and their good and bad points. Very easy lesson for this year. Choosing to do the hard things that are good for you consistently every day is what makes or breaks the year, the day, the life. Once you start avoiding those good things, I don't mean kill yourself, you don't have to wake up at 4:30 every morning and, just make every choice perfect. That's not what I mean. But we all know what those things are and where we are physically, emotionally, and what we can handle. But if you're at your worst place, can you get off your ass and go for a 10-minute walk? Can you do that for yourself? It's hard. It's really hard some days. Really hard for some people. But that is something you can do. That doesn't break you. That doesn't wear you down. That builds you up. But it's hard. It doesn't build you up in that second, but it builds you up if you do that every day. And I'm in a place where I can still do a lot more than that. And while I can do more of that without hurting myself, because I've done way too much in the past, where it has hurt me in so many ways, but I know the difference now. And I know that the days, the weeks, the months where I'm making those choices every day to do the hard things that make my family happier and healthier, that make me happier and healthier, that make my environment better. When I do those things on a daily basis, everything about life is better. Everything. That's my biggest lesson this year. This is going bad, that's going bad. Life sucks, world sucks, government sucks. What should you do today? Do the hard thing that's going to make something better. Get away from that screen for 10 minutes. Move your body for a half hour. Call that one person. Take that extra class in college. Organize those drawers you've been wanting to do. Do that thing. Just do it. Then go back to relax. Recover. Rebuild yourself. But you gotta do those things, and that's my number one lesson. Which shouldn't be shocking, but in my previous lives, that would mean a very extreme version of that, which is can be very unhelpful. I'm a big glare this whole time. I apologize. But thanks for watching. I'm glad I did this for myself. Puts more perspective on things that I had some perspective on, but one whole year just gone. My 50th year. 50 years, a half a century. God damn. Well, I shall try to love myself and try to do the good things. Today I did a lot of the good things, and I'm done for the day. But a good day. I'm very, very, very proud of myself. Very happy about what I did today. I'm going to try to do that tomorrow. I love myself more than I have in my life. And I hope you love yourself. And I hope you do the things that make your life better. And how long is your next year going to be?